We are the damned of all the world. We are the wounded of all the wars. We cannot forget a woman. We who have hot blood in our veins, sadness in our head, and pain in our heart.
An individual has the chance to start from zero. They start you with a new name, a new identity. You be who you wish to be.
I chose a new name because I'd been married before. I had a child. Having abandoned the family, I was likely to have problems with British justice, civil justice.
It's not a normal existence. Some of the things I've seen guys do, I mean, you get locked up in Seville Street.
Yeah, you can do stuff and get away with it. Get away with it, that the stuff you can do in civil life, you wouldn't be able to get away with it.
We are a bit out of time and space in the Legion. You realize that we are in a sort of monastery. We are living alone among us, and we are stripping off all those materialistic aspects of the society to rebuild a new man, a bit more spiritual, according to me.
An army of monk soldiers living on past glories, a refuge for delinquents and misfits from all over the world, soldiers of fortune, or just plain mercenaries. Call them what you will, the Legion remains today what it was when it began, an army of foreigners ready to do the dirty work for France. As the sun sets on the French colonial empire, the Legion remains a relic of bygone days. But could it perhaps have a future as an international army for a united Europe?
When you've got legionnaires in battle, you've got all the other troops. You've got 141 different countries. You've got Brit squaddies, we've got Americans, we've got Australians, New Zealanders, Somalians, Ethiopians. I got 2 Zulu warriors. And you've got everybody tied in. If you've got faith in your comrades, man, you can walk all over the world.
Every week, more than 100 young men from all over the world arrive at Marseille to offer their lives for France. Coming from many different cultures, speaking different languages, it would seem that they have little to share. But they have one thing in common. They have all broken with their past and are ready for a new beginning.
Yes, I love you.
When I say goodbye to my girlfriend, I guess that was not too hard, because I was already prepared inside me about what I was going to do. My past is past. Now, the past is not important no longer.
Why is it that Joe Espinoza, a 20-year-old Mexican-American, has chosen to turn his back on his country, his family, and his friends to become a mercenary serving France? There is no army in the world surrounded by more mystique than the French Foreign Legion. Since it was founded in 1831, the Legion has been the guardian of the French colonies. But that empire is no more, and the Legion has come home to France, far away from their beloved citadels in the burning sun of the desert. But the legend remains. A legend that made Beau Geste a classic, Hollywood a fortune, and Gary Cooper a star. That legend continues to attract recruits, for the Legion appeals to something deep and mysterious in the psyche of men.
People come here because they're looking for adventure. They're young guys who've heard of the Foreign Legion, who've read about it. The second reason are those who have financial problems. They can be gamblers, they can be people who've accumulated a great number of debts. The others who have minor criminal problems. That is, they may have done a few burglaries, and if they're caught this time, they could go inside for a couple of years. There are those, of course, for sentimental reasons who come here, who've left a girlfriend, they've been very stung by the romantic failure. And you've also got the ex-servicemen, of course.
I was an M60 gunner, and I started out with 22 people and wound up with 12 2 years later. It was a job. It was the best fun I've ever had in my life.
When John Barquette came home after the Vietnam War, he couldn't settle down.
And I felt I was up against a social wall. There's such a social importance made on youth, and I was reaching a certain age. And all this, I thought, well, hell's bells. If you're going to die, let's die tomorrow. Get it done. Well, I haven't managed to yet, so what the hell? I'm still here.
What would you be doing if you weren't doing this?
I'd be... Well, there's three situations, you know. Have a normal life, though I doubt it. Or being Nick. Or down South Africa somewhere.
Mark Rossignol from Australia makes no secret of the fact that the Legion has saved him from a life in prison. The contract is simple. You give the Legion your body, and they will protect you from yourself.
What the hell? I have cowboyed, I have managed my own ranch, I have drove truck, I have worked in damn steel mills and foundries, I have dug more than my share of ditches and painted houses. I have done everything there is to do. The Legion is very special. Why a guy joins ain't got hell of beans to do with nothing. It's why he stays. You could also say that a lot of these guys would kill themselves on auto accidents or with drug overdoses or some bullshit like that within their social life if it wasn't for the Legion. What holds you there is discipline. It's not fear. You got some guy who's well-balanced, who wants a wife and 2 kids with a little white picket fence and all this crap, you know? Man, we don't need him. We need the kind of guy who hasn't got any idea what he's going to do tomorrow. Because if you got a guy who's got his head functioning correctly, he don't need us. We take all these other weirdos and stick them together and make something out of it. And it works. That works well. But why someone stays here, man, is because he found something that makes his life worth living a little bit longer for.
This is a big challenge for me. Yeah, I was afraid of it because we don't know what it is. We don't know what's going to happen, how they're going to treat us or something. They take everything from you when you begin. Driver's license, they take it away from you. If you have any picture, they take it away from you. Anything they can relate you to the outside world, they take it away from you. Money is not always the most important thing in our world, at least for me. I don't come here for the money. If it's good, I maybe stay for 15, 20, all my life.
Most of them say to me, I can't cope any longer with my environment and with the world around me. So I come and I give you my skin. I give you my blood. You do what you want with me, said the Legionnaire. But please, love me. I will give to you all that you want. I will obey your orders. But in exchange, I demand to be loved by somebody in that institution.
Your stay here is from between 15 and 20 days. You're going to go to the interrogation unit of the Foreign Legion. Here, they want to know about you from the day you was born until the present date.
Sit down. It's a big person in front of you with a big rank.
What's your name?
He was looking deep, deep inside me. And he take all that past that I had in my eyes, and he began to ask me about it. And every time I tell him something, a piece of me that was falling to the floor.
You was a fireman at night?
Yeah, I was a firefighter at night, and I was going to the university in the morning.
If, for example, your mom and your dad, they come knocking on the door here to ask if you are here, Do you want them to say yes, you are here, or not to say you are here?
No, I want the Legion to say no to them.
Et la Légion qui répond qu'elle n'est pas ici.
Ok, donc on va te changer de nom.
Okay, there's no problem, they will change your name.
Ok?
Okay.
Donc à partir de maintenant, tu t'appelleras Joe Harris.
From now on, your new name is Joe Harris.
Ok? Joe Espinosa n'existe plus.
Joel Spinoza doesn't exist anymore.
Ok?
The beginning of my new life, that was really when they cut my hair off. That was a part of me who was sad because I was losing many years past, because you look completely different. But I was getting, now, my new life in the Legion.
Here in the elite 2nd Parachute Regiment, known as the Rep, Legionnaires live life on the razor's edge. They are on constant standby to go anywhere in the world at 2 hours' notice. It's the adrenaline that this kind of life creates that attracts people like Corporal Mark Rossignol, who came from Australia 5 years ago to join the Legion.
I think I need discipline in my life. No, I wouldn't get that in Civvy Street. I'd get it by the coppers, that's the only thing. I want an army life, and I've got it here, so I'm happy with it, you know. Most people who come here, they've got nowhere else to go. This is probably their last chance.
On the island of Corsica in the south of France, the Parachute Regiment is kept fairly isolated from the rest of the world. The Legion today trains as a rapid action force. It's part of the French army, but remains a small, self-contained professional force of 8,500 men.
I went home last January, well, this year in January, and it's all changed. My mates, I seen them, but half of them are no good, you know, big beer gut in the pubs, the other half are in Nick. It's not a life that, sitting at the pub, you know.
What do they think about you joining the Legion, though?
Some of them said, oh, it's all right. Some of them didn't even know what the Legion existed. Felt like my place wasn't there, you know. That's it.
For me personally, it's a challenge, you know, that's it. I mean, if I can stick it out, well then it'll be something you can be proud of, that's all. It is a commitment, it's more of a commitment than you think. Commitment to the people that you work with, also to yourself, because it is a small family.
Party! Chris Osborne gave up a career in the Australian Regular Army to take up the challenge of the Legion.
Go right, here, mate.
I knew what I was getting myself into from the start. As soon as I walked through the gates of Auburn, I knew that it'd be hard work. You have to earn everything here. You have to earn. Even the respect in your place in the section as soon as you arrive. You are summed up. You are looked at. The training's hard. It can be very frustrating, but it's always difficult mentally because sometimes you don't see the logic of things. My ambition, just to try and probably stay fully functional, you know, mentally and sort of physically. It is probably the best school for human nature in the world here. You have no idea. You've got guys from all around the world. You learn different traits about different nationalities.
Don't like blacks, but there's black legionnaires, and I consider them as a legionnaire before they're black, you know.
Everybody has their differences, but you'd be very stupid to come here and say, I don't like this certain nationality, so I'm going to beat the hell out of every one of them, when you wouldn't last long, you know. Everybody's in the same boat here, you know. Nobody's special. You come here full intention, knowing that you could end up killed, sure. This place does have a mortality rate. You can't always be sure where your luck's going to be or what your destiny is. But you've got to do it. I mean, what do you want to do? Sit around and watch the sun come up in the morning and watch it go down at night and not get a buzz? Sure. I get a buzz at the blowing up things and shooting things and jumping out of planes and stuff like that. Yeah, sure.
Would you get a buzz out of killing people?
If it was part of the job, yes. If it's to defend the lives of French citizens down there in Africa and to protect your mates here, your fellow legionnaires, yes. You can take pride in that you have done your job, yes.
The Legion was one of the first armies brought into Saudi Arabia to join the Allied forces in the Gulf War, back to their beloved desert. The Legion also maintains permanent outposts in other foreign territories. From its headquarters in mainland France, today the Legion maintains a presence in Chad in Africa. They're also based in Djibouti on the Gulf of Aden, Mayotte in the Indian Ocean, in the Pacific Islands near Tahiti, supporting the French nuclear testing program, and in the jungles of Guiana, guarding the European space pad. Here, they are trained in jungle warfare.
Les migales qu'on trouve en Guyane, ce sont les plus grosses araignées du monde.
Most soldiers in the Legion can expect 2 years out of the first 5 at foreign postings. The danger and romance of exotic places has wide appeal to young men brought up in the urban jungles of the world. After 3 weeks of medicals, aptitude tests and interrogations, the successful 1 in 3 is issued with a uniform.
When everybody begins to take their clothes off, that's the moment when you begin to give that step into the soup. They make you lose your identity and make you get into a group. You're not one no more, you are many.
Today, Joe Harris will make one of the most important commitments of his life. He will sign up for a minimum of 5 years in the French Foreign Legion.
I shall solemnly underline this new start chosen by you and your willingness to serve the Foreign Legion with honor and faithfulness, whatever the regiment you may choose.
Engagé volontaire pur d'air.
Présent, Major.
They agree to abide by a solemn code of ethics,
Engagé volontaire Kung.
Présent.
calling on them to accomplish their mission at all costs, never to abandon their wounded or dead,
Présent, Major.
nor surrender their arms under any circumstances.
Engagé volontaire Némer.
Présent, Major.
The rule of chivalry and the code of honors and the way to behave with loyalty constitute one of the catechism of the Legion.
In a tabernacle in the shrine of the Legion is their most sacred relic, the wooden hand of Captain d'Anjou, found in the ashes of Cameroon after 65 legionnaires fought to the last against 2,000 Mexicans. Since the foundation of the Legion, 36,000 legionnaires have died for France, but only the names of the officers are recorded on the rolls. Amongst its ranks of the illustrious, the Legion claims the Ali Khan, a songwriter, Cole Porter, and the young American poet Alan Seeger, who served and died with the Legion. He wrote,
I have a rendezvous with death. At midnight in some flaming town, when spring trips north again this year, and I to my pledged word am true, I shall not fail that rendezvous.
The Legion maintains and recycles its own legend with great devotion. Artists, photographers and writers are employed full-time, just keeping the image alive.
The Legion is very romantic because each Legioner, with his own private adventure to join the Legion, is a dreamer, a figure of romance.
How do you feel about the idea of being a gunslinger for France, though?
Oh, gunslinger. Well, put it this way, I'm a volunteer. I don't like the word mercenary. I don't know what the public's image or perception of a mercenary is. Maybe it's somebody who goes around killing people and burning villages, but no. Here you are a volunteer which serves the Legion and which the Legion does serve France. Whatever they throw on your plate, you got to eat. Huh?
Suivant, saute! Allez, bien, saut! Suivant! Saut, Nicole! Allez! Saut! Allez! Vite! Allez, accroche chaque cadeau!
The Legion puts a group of soldiers through a commando training course. They are kept going 48 hours without sleep, pushing them to see how far they can go without cracking.
Allez, en mode! Dessous, vite! Hey! En avant, rebond, tire! Putain, 5-12, vite! Ils sont mieux, ok! Allez, bien vu! Dans la foulée!
Every man in this group is responsible for each other.
Tous au fond de la fosse, c'est des gens morts! Ok! Allez, on est parti en bas, vite! Saut! C'est moyen, ça fait! Allez, go! Allez, en bas!
The Legion prefers its recruits to come from tough working-class backgrounds, and it fosters a strong egalitarian spirit. The Legion welcomes their problems. After all, it's their problems that sent them there, and it's their problems that will keep them there. Legionnaires can become NCOs, but very few of them make it through to the holy grail of the officers' mess. The officers are the pick of the French military academy. The Legion is a popular posting because it is both professional and relatively independent. The officers live like the knights of old, preserving their codes of chivalry in their own castles. But even the officers like to encourage a certain bravado and keep the image of the bad boy brigade alive. The Legion demands loyalty to itself above all else. The officers must spend Christmas Day with their men and not with their families. But life at the bottom is not nearly so much fun. The new recruits have to spend their first 40 days on a farm, completely isolated from the outside world. It's here that their indoctrination begins.
The most difficult thing is to teach brotherhood to these young men. And brotherhood is difficult. You must support your neighbor. Sometimes he stinks, you know, or he doesn't speak the same language. He understands nothing. Their personal behavior must not be a burden for the others. It is one of the bases of brotherhood.
We don't want a family like my mother and father and my sister and everybody else. I want a family of brothers, as we are here in the Legion.
When they join the Legion, There is one thing that we guarantee to those young men: you will never be alone again. You will always have a brother on your side. During that period, when they cross the step of their adventure to the Legion, they have to strip off the burden of their failure, their past, to begin again a new life. It is like a birth.
So, allez-vous! Bon, écoute-moi bien, les gars. In the beginning, we call them zeros because they've got no hair, because they don't know nothing, and that's the way it starts off.
Marchons légionnaires dans la boue, dans le sable brûlant. Marchons l'âme légère et le cœur vaillant. Marchons légionnaires. Okay? On essaie de chanter le premier couplet tous ensemble.
What are the words? We are the damned of all the world, the wounded of all the wars. We cannot forget a woman. We have pain in our hearts.
We walk with the devil, the diable.
Do you walk around singing that?
When you have to, you have to. It's part of the spirit, the core. It's part of the process.
Les gars du premier étranger, notre devise est légendaire. Honneur, fidélité, fidélité. Ah. Section. Reposez.
The zero is physically and mentally restructured. Bent egos are straightened out. Individual bad habits are erased. Self-doubts rigorously corrected.
I wouldn't say it's brainwashing. I don't know if there's anybody here who's brainwashed. I think people just enjoy their work here, that's all.
Many times you don't know what time it is or what day it is, and you don't know nothing about the outside world, if something happened to your country or something happened to your family. We don't know what's going on. Sometimes I do miss my girlfriend, and I think about my family, about the people I love, people I left behind, because when I came here, I left everybody behind. In the same time, you don't miss them, because when you get up in the morning and put your uniform, you know that now you're part of another family, and the family behind is only in your heart.
It is a pressure cooker at times. I think it helps around here. People think you're crazy. I think it does help because they sort of leave you alone, you know.
There is a lot of violence here. We like getting in fights, having a good session, drinks and all that. When we do, we always cause trouble. We're not allowed to do it, but we do it, you know.
Do you find that people pick fights with you if you're a legionnaire, people from other parts of the French army and things?
No, they run away as fast as they can.
What, because the reputation of the Legion?
Reputation plus what we do, you know.
Allez, point sensible, point sensible. Okay, allez, viens ici, laisse-le.
You are revered and feared.
It does nurture the image of being bad, tough guys, doesn't it?
Bad, tough guys. Yeah. Yeah, you're right there, I suppose, but that's part of holding your head up higher, being prouder.
The Legion has recognised the rich resource of violent instincts, waiting to be unleashed in men who grew up in a pedigree of violence. Backstreet mongrels can be carefully groomed as magnificent dogs of war.
Ok, la sentinelle, comme ça, ok? Ok, avec l'avant-bras, d'accord?
Aggression is controlled madness. That's what aggression is. It is controlled madness, and you have to have a check on your appetites in all aspects of life.
But the Legion sometimes pushes things too far and was recently banned from exercising with the regular army on the mainland because they caused too many injuries.
What about the ultimate, the morality of killing, and do you ever think about that?
Yeah, I'd love to do it. I'm just waiting for the day, you know? Not just me, him, everybody.
But what commandment says they shall not kill?
That's Bible stuff. No one thinks about that. It's our job. It's our job.
So you just do it.
Yeah, enough pleasure.
You thought about the morality of it?
The morality, I mean, well, there are no laws. There shouldn't be any laws. I mean, if there is a war, there is a war. You have to protect yourself, your comrades, plus the people that you sent there to save.
There's a certain kudos attached to breaking the rules in the Legion. A tolerance of those who have to let off steam, and a respect for those who spend time in jail.
It's just normal for a person to go off the rails now and then, and he does time in the jails. It's normal. It's an outlet of your aggression, I suppose.
You get quieting down here. You can't get violent all the time. But if I was in Civvy Street, yeah, I'd be violent. You ain't got much freedom. I want to know every second what you're doing. If you're in town getting pissed, or if you're working, or if you're doing training and all that.
It's just like a footballer. He trains all week, and then the weekend comes and he doesn't get a game. Hey, what does he do? Huh? You don't hold anything against anybody who's done time. You go in there, you finish your term, and then you come back out, and then you start anew. Huh? That's it.
This is typical to the Legionnaire, absolutely typical. When they have made a mistake, they would not suffer not to be punished, because for them it is the rule, and after punishment they feel clean. That's a typical traditional behavior of the Legionnaire. And yes, that's typical.
Yeah, overseas, always getting strife and going to nick. I'm not proud for it, but that's how it goes. You do get in trouble and they put you in nick.
What did you do?
Well, since you're always locked up over there, so plus the sun, the desert and all that, you go out for 3 weeks, you come back in. But me and my mate, I'd done the barbed wires and went in a black village in town, little shacks, tin shacks and all that, and burnt down a house and hit a couple of people and that's it.
Why'd you do that?
Take the anger out of yourself, you know, take it out on them. Can't take it out on other Legionnaires.
Is that the only reason you've been in nick?
No, I've been in nick heaps of times.
For what, mainly?
Lots of time, drunkenness, fighting. That's about it, you know. Never stealing. You go over the continent in France and all that, everybody just stares at you like someone who came out from nowhere, you know, or you're apart from them, you know. Everybody just hates you. Not everybody, but most of the civilians. Some of them don't even know what Legion is. They're afraid. So they don't come up and talk to you, you know. You can be sitting there 2-3 hours in the bar and just don't like the Legion. No one likes it, really. It's got its reputation from the old days, and it's still kept it.
If you come here with attachments on the outside, you don't last too long. That's why a lot of guys leave, because they get mail from their girlfriends, and that plays in their mind, and they say, well, I've got to get back and do this and that. You know, there's time relationships later on, though.
We have around 9% of the deserters per year. That's an average. It is the worst thing that can happen. I feel it me being their officer, I feel it really as a divorce, as a failure. I am ashamed of that because I realize I have not been able to integrate a man in my community. So it is a failure. But I realize also that some people have not enough guts to meet the challenge of the Legion.
I have nothing against anybody who deserts. I'll even give them the money to leave, you know. I mean, like you volunteer to come, you can volunteer to leave. I mean, the door's always open.
But in a way, the great phenomenon we have, even with our deserters, is that if you are a deserter of the Foreign Legion, you are not a deserter, an ordinary deserter. And you will always find somewhere somebody able to pay attention to you. It's better to be a deserter of the Foreign Legion, in a sense, than to be a deserter of the 25th Potatoes Lancers Regiment.
And will be shot at sunrise.
There's a nice pickle we're in. Shot at sunrise. I hope it's cloudy tomorrow.
But life in the Legion is not as bad as it used to be when they were stationed in the desert. The island of Corsica is an attractive tourist resort in the summer.
There's never a shortage of women here, I can tell you. I mean, you've only got to be here in summer, all the tourists come here. And you've got Italian women, you've got people from right around the world who come in the course. They say hello to Legionnaires, yeah.
There is very little room for women in the Legion. Legionnaires can marry after 5 years' service, but most find it easier to remain bonded to the Brotherhood.
We appreciate when our Legionnaires go downtown together like brothers and go to a bordello or somewhere like that.
And I know guys who got wives here and it's very rough on them. And so we all try to help them out as best we can, but still. He can come in one night and say, well, honey, I'm going to be gone for a while. She goes, how long? And 4.5 months later, he'll walk in the door. So it's very rough to make relationships. It's very difficult. You just don't know what the hell you're doing. That's why we drink. It takes up the gaps, huh? It works.
This sincere problem of women is in the center, maybe, of the preoccupation of the Legionnaire. And the magnificence in combat, maybe, in war and sacrifice, may be a compensation to a refusal of the materiality of women.
In war, the Legionnaire has found a substitute for women. He has given up one love for another, often giving up his life in the process. One of the bloodiest battles in the Legion's history took place in Indochina long before the Australians and the Americans arrived. At the Battle of Dien Bien Phu in 1954, 1,500 Legionnaires were killed. This brought their death toll to 10,000 men, and the French soon abandoned Indochina in defeat.
War, sacrifice, and death have always been fascinating for men. When a man dies, if he is, at the moment he dies, well established in the spirit of the Legion, he will never die. He will belong to the fame of the Legion. His blood, while pouring, will bring to the Legion a new force for a new combat and for a new accomplishment of the institution.
Man is not a natural killer. He has to be taught. He has to be taught. You have to do it psychologically, between hot and cold, fear and pleasure. And it has to be worked in slowly so it's ingrained. It's not easy, and it don't always work.
You use weapons, and you use them for some purpose, and the purpose is kill.
How can anybody teach a soldier to go kill somebody, and then when he gets back in the streets, he's supposed to stop it right away? It doesn't work either. I mean, you just don't turn it on and off with a little switch, huh? There's always a contradiction one has to face. But when you deal with so many contradictions for so long, you're not necessarily too well hooked on, huh? You can take a prostitute, and her job is to give pleasure. You can take a military man, and his job is to be the last one standing up.
The one advantage the Legion has over other national armies is that their losses are not such a political embarrassment. Legionnaires don't come home in flag-draped coffins. They lie buried in foreign fields, often with the same anonymity in death that they chose in life.
When you die, don't nobody cry. What's a life worth? And who the hell am I? I ain't but a pimple on the butt of an elephant. I ain't suicidal. But goddamn, the bloke who takes my head off is gonna earn it, huh? He's gonna earn every minute of it. But we're gonna have a time.
It's a primitive, basic animal instinct of man to go to war and to prove to himself that he has the skill, and also to be the conqueror, to kill his enemy. I think that is a very truthful answer. I can't give any other one.
But you're killing people for money.
The rep doesn't go into a defenseless country down Africa, and it just doesn't start blazing away for its own glory. I mean, whenever the rep is called in, it's to protect the French citizens. That's it.
We're fighting for France, and we respect France, but we are a family first. In the beginning, it's hard, because it's not your country, it's not your flag. After you being here for a long time, you begin to understand what is France, and you begin to love this country.
When the French Foreign Legion strides down the Champs-Élysées on Bastille Day, they always get a standing ovation. For they are part of the heritage of this romantic nation. Somehow their slow, arrogant march, their exotic uniform, their style and panache symbolizes the character of France. But their pride has sometimes brought conflict. And there was a time when the Legion was banned from this parade because they put loyalty to the Brotherhood before loyalty to France. For more than 100 years, the Legion was based in Algeria. Then in 1961, Algeria was granted independence and the Legion was ordered home. The Legion had fought long and hard against the rebels who were seeking independence for Algeria, and they considered that they had won. For the Legion, the withdrawal was an act of betrayal. The elite parachute regiment joined the rebellion against the French government. The Legion rebels eventually withdrew, defiantly singing the Piaf song, "No, I regret nothing." Even today, the Legion makes no apology, and the ties of brotherhood that led to the rebellion are as strong as ever.
The modern Western society, very materialistic and with a high technology, do not provide to men the affection they need. They feel that they will find something to fill this gap in the Legion.
Look at the bond ship here. You know, for me now, it's pretty tranquil. It's pretty tranquil.
Now baptized and confirmed in the mythology of the Legion, the monk soldiers enjoy a powerful brotherhood. It's a paradox that the love they share often stems from a bitter past and looks ahead to a brutal future in conflict.
There is that bond, sure there is. I mean, there has to be a bond, doesn't there? Which is very important. I don't know of any homosexuals here.
The problem is that they say that men create wars to have this bond.
Yeah? I mean, where else would you get a bunch of guys doing what we do? I mean...
I take it it's the only way that men can express love for each other.
Yeah, you're probably right. I don't know. You're a fighting man, huh? You're a fighting man. For Christ's sake, I mean, what do you want us to do, walk around with flowers in our hair, huh? I mean, Christ almighty.
After a career in the Legion, you have people that we must take in the veterans institution because they are totally unable to cope with their civilian life, some of them.
It's like a family. There isn't anybody that's alone. My family is Legion.
When a young man joins up, the Legion promises that he will never be alone again. And when he is an old man, that promise is honoured. Out on the farm, the young Legionnaires come to help the old campaigners harvest the grapes. The days are long, and the grapes are sweet in their maturity. Every year, the pensioners produce 100,000 bottles of Côte de Provence.
The wine? Oh, it's good, yeah.
Bon, je vous remercie.
I hope it's a good year this year.
The white cap of the Legion, the Kepi Blanc. The bond of brotherhood is sealed.
I think we are different. I think we learn to love each other in here.
Allez, c'est bien les gars. Terminé.
When you have a friend, and he's really your friend, you're able to give your life for him. I will be glad to give it to them because we are brothers of arms.
My ambition and my dream and my wish is to make my legionnaires noble, to elevate their mind and to give them back to the civilian life if they want to go back better than they were when they came.
I don't know what is outside no more. And I don't want to be outside. I want to be here. That's very important for me. I want to be here and I will stay here. And I hope I can stay here for a long time.
Légionnaires de la section du lieutenant Frouin, coiffez vos képis blancs.
I'm a soldier of elite, soldier of class. soldier of the Legion.
What if Australia suddenly got in a war? What would you do?
If Australia was threatened badly, I don't know. At the moment, my loyalty lays with the Legion. Well, I'd like to think that the boys back home would be able to do a good job, huh? I'm loyal to the kepi blanc, which is the white kepi. As long as you wear the uniform, it is my duty. It is my duty to obey and to do what is required of me. I mean, you are proud to put the uniform on. I'd like to think that after 5 years I'll be able to say, well, that's enough. I've got to get back on home. I've fulfilled my side of the contract. I've done my bit, eh? I know once I finish my commitments here, I can enter France any time I want to. No problems. I can even live here.
André Malraux, the French philosopher, said the 21st century will be the century of refound spirit, or will not be. So I am optimistic. I believe that it will be a change in this society. It is coming. So maybe we may play the modest role of monasteries during the Middle Age, you know. Through the black period of the barbarian Middle Age, in the Cistercian monasteries, they kept the little flame of culture coming from the antiquity. And when the Renaissance came back, they were able to deliver a flow of culture and spirituality. We save some values that we will be able to bring back at the right moment when people will need maybe more brotherhood and comradeship.
The future of the French Foreign Legion is very secure. They need us. Why should they send some poor French kid out to fight or go get someplace where there's a shitty stick when they got me who's willing to do it for nothing? I'm here. My mother don't vote on France. My family don't care. Why should they send some nice little clean French kid when they got all these dirty misfits? Let them go.
If I come to the end of my life without having fought another war, the world will be a better place to live. Yeah, man, I may be the last old cowboy that ever existed, but goddamn it, I may be the last legionnaire going too. But the world won't be no worse off without us.
Adieu, mon père. Adieu, mon père.
We are the damned.